Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This session is part of my All About Aromatherapy knowledge videos and focuses on the second half of the middle notes of essential oils. As part of my relearning experience, which I'm sharing with you, I am revisiting the knowledge side of aromatherapy. So I'm looking again at the origins, the uses, and the benefits of these oils. So, there are a number of ways of categorizing essential oils, and one of them is using this top, middle, and base note method, which is popular in aromatherapy. And it basically means that you can put a blend together with a range of oils that will come into play at different times. And it can be really helpful if you're just starting out in aromatherapy because it gives you some sort of structure and helps you to build up your confidence in treatments based on the knowledge that you gain when you research these oils. While I was revisiting my research, I was reminded that there are other ways of categorizing essential oils as well. You may have come across oils being referred to as woody or citrusy, and that is one way of categorizing oils as well. Another way that I came across when I was revisiting my notes was by the properties of the oils, and I actually found my list from my student days of the properties of essential oils, and this again is a way that some people prefer to blend their oils or base their blend on. So I thought it would be interesting just to pull out a couple of these. So we have, for example, oils that are analgesic, so pain relieving, antidepressant, so that are uplifting and mood enhancing, antiseptic, when they inhibit the development of bacteria, antiviral, where they're fighting viral infections, bactericide, where they're aiming to kill bacteria, depurative, which is cleansing impurities, expectorant, which is a good one to use if obviously your client is suffering from colds, or you yourself or a member of your family are trying to deal with the symptoms of a cold. Oils that are expectorant based can help to remove that excess mucus. You've got homeostatic oils, which are all about balance, and sedative ones, which have a calming effect, and also synergy ones, which again are aimed at balance, which have a mixture of substances in them to encourage that balance approach. So I thought it was a useful diversion just to cover some of those and remind myself again that there are other ways of categorizing oils. But going back to the one that I'm focusing on, which is this top, middle, and base note categorization, and returning to our middle notes, the middle note of the blend is the main body of the blend and it brings the other notes together. So the middle notes last longer than the top notes, usually around about 2 hours, and they last less time than the base notes, which we looked at in our previous session. Middle notes are often herbal or floral and very beneficial in the blend for both the mind and body in helping to calm, de-stress, reduce pain, and invigorate, depending on which oils you choose to put into the blend. In this video, I will be looking at the benefits and uses of the following oils: Chang, Majoram, Melissa, black pepper, rose, rosemary, and tea tree. So some of these are the favourite oils that I like to work with. Obviously, there are a number or a large number of middle notes, but there are only some that I tend to regularly use that I'm very familiar with and can talk about. So that's why I'm focusing on these ones, plus the original ones that I discussed in the first half of my video, looking at the first half of the middle notes. So please do go back and look at that. So one of the first oils I want to focus in on is Chang. So Chang has a light lemony citrus aroma. Always reminds me of sherbet sweets for some reason. And it's really great. It has that sort of uplifting feeling, which you know is going to make you feel better. It's also very good for cleansing and toning the body as well. So the oil is distilled from the pepper-shaped fruits of the Chang plant, and it has natural antibacterial properties, very good for toning, very good for skincare for oily or problem skin. And its citrus aroma and deodorizing properties make it a great oil to use in diffusers as well. It also can act as an insect repellent. So you can use it in any diffuser or oil burner. I would recommend about 5 to 6 drops. But what I'm going to demonstrate here is just using it as a moisturiser with an uplifting feel to it. So you literally want to find yourself unfragranced skin cleansing product that you would hopefully normally use. Add that in. And then literally you just want 2, 3 drops in there. Mix that in together. And then you could use that as a cleanser, but it has that real uplifting feeling. So as you're cleansing your face, you can actually smell that. It makes you feel good, definitely. Now, if you're wondering why I prefer to use these porcelain containers, do be aware that obviously essential oils seep into everything. So I tend to, when I'm using essential oils, keep everything firmly contained in either porcelain or glass. I tend to prefer to use. And the reason for that is, as I said, it does seep into everything. Just removing that Chang out the way because I've got 6 other oils here to also cover for you. So the next one I've got is Majoram. So Majoram is an interesting one. In fact, the next two have this sort of combination. The next one is Melissa, but the next two have this sort of sweet and herby at the same time. So it's a great oil to help relax and be comforted. So especially great for those who are very good at overthinking and worrying. So it can be used to soothe and calm the mind. Similarly, it can be used to soothe and calm overworked muscles. So particularly if you do like to train in the gym or you've exercised too much, this one is great for a post-workout massage blend. It's steam distilled from the dried leaves and flowering tops of the marjoram, and as I said, you can use it as a sports massage oil, so post training. I would certainly recommend that you use it, probably with some sweet almond oil here, with a drop of sweet marjoram. Rosemary and cypress are good combination oils to use with that as well. You can also use it as a room fragrance, to add to a diffuser or an oil burner to create that comforting and relaxing atmosphere. So I've got an oil burner here with some water in, and you would literally just add about 3 drops, I think would be sufficient there. So pop your oil burner on. And then that will create a lovely, comforting and relaxing atmosphere in the room. The next one I'm going to talk to you about is Melissa. So Melissa has a very delicate, lemony, herbaceous aroma, and it's another one that's really prized for its uplifting and refreshing properties. It's great for helping to comfort the mind and calm unpleasant feelings such as tension and nervousness. So Melissa is an expensive essential oil, and the diluted version, which is this version, which is a 3% dilution, and it's a great way to enjoy the benefits of an expensive oil in an affordable way. The reason the pure, so Melissa Absolute, the reason the pure version is so expensive is because it takes 7 tons of leaves and flowers to produce 1 kilogram of essential oils. So you add 5 drops of this to maybe an unfragranced oil to create a bath experience. That would be one way I would suggest you get the full benefit of using Melissa, or possibly using it as a refreshing and uplifting natural fragrance. You can apply a small amount, literally 1 drop, to pulse points, but make sure obviously you're only using the diluted version to do that. And it has the most glorious aroma. It is definitely this mixture of a mild lemon aroma with a slight herby tang to it, which I really like. It reminds me of being out in the garden and being surrounded. I often have rosemary, lavender and lemon plants in the garden, and that has a very similar aroma, which is absolutely lovely. So the next oil I want to talk to you about is black pepper. So black pepper has a warm, spicy aroma. It's a great oil for helping to ground the mind, whilst its warming and quite stimulating properties make it a wonderful oil for soothing muscular aches and pains. And it's also known to help stomach discomfort. So I have actually used this with clients who are suffering from tummy problems. The other benefit that it has is that it's known to help with respiratory problems. So, an all round really beneficial oil. It's produced from the dried, crushed fruits of the pepper vine, and due to its quite spicy aroma and warming properties, it easily lends itself to use in sports massage blends. So, another good one for that. This particular one is sourced out of India. So, you could use it for its sports massage qualities and mix it with, I would suggest, grapefruit oil. And so if we're using the 3-2-1 drops method, which is a good one if you've got a certain amount of carrier oil in there. So 3 of the black pepper, and then I would add something like lavender. And actually, that's 1 drop of 2 drops snuck in there. Very hard sometimes to get it absolutely spot on, but that was 1 drop of eucalyptus at the end there. Yeah, not quite perfect. I've got to work on that one. So possibly that one. So that possibly leans itself towards a sports massage one. It's much more herbal, that mixture. So if you wanted to use it for maybe an upset stomach, I would possibly use a slightly different blend. So maybe use the grape seed again. See if this comes out with a different smell. Black pepper. And actually, I'm going to jump ahead and pop some rosemary in there. And then I'm going to try the lavender. And that's nicer. So the more herbal one would be for a sports massage. And this alternative would definitely be much more for stomach aches and tummy. I think it just needs maybe that drop of rosemary in there. And you could also use something similar to that for a bath. Do be a little bit careful with black pepper, because if you use too much of it, it can really irritate the skin. So my next oil is rose. I need to talk to you a little bit more about this, because I actually was reminded when I was going through my notes again of how complex rose is. It's one of the most used essential oils, but you can get different types, and different types create different smells and different blends. So the main ones that you get are Rose Otto, which is this one, and then Rose Absolute. So you can probably guess Rose Absolute is the expensive version. But it is an absolutely gorgeous oil, particularly used in beauty and skincare, wonderful for mature or dry skins. For example, you can use what I did earlier. If you get unperfumed cleanser and drop a little bit of rose oil in there, you can get that really delicate uplifting feeling while you're cleansing the skin well. So Rose Otto is generally in a 3% dilution, which makes it a really delicate oil with a deep, rich floral aroma. Remind myself that's absolutely wonderful. It's like sitting in the garden again, and when you've got rose bushes around you. And the reason for that is it's distilled from the rose petals. So if you remind yourself of sitting in a garden and seeing the petals on a rose, that's where the oil is distilled from. So this one is in a light coconut oil as well. So that means it can be used directly on the skin because it's already diluted. It's known for its anti-aging properties, mood boosting. You can use it on its own or in a blend, and it's one of the few recommended oils for use during pregnancy. It also makes a wonderful room fragrancer. So the absolute version is extracted by solvent extraction, and it's a very complex process to extract and produce the absolute oil. And great care needs to be taken in its production. You can imagine the petals very fragile and need to be handled very carefully. And obviously the absolute version, that is reflected, the whole process and production of that is reflected in the cost. It's very comforting in an oil burner, which provides a rich floral aroma, and it can also be used in a facial blend. So if you're doing a facial, you can use unperfumed products and then add in a few drops of rose, and that's very effective in beauty products. The next oil I want to talk to you about is rosemary. Now, rosemary, you've seen me already use it. It's one of the favourite ones that I like to use. And it's a refreshing and stimulating essential oil. It's extracted from the rosemary plant sprigs, and I did go into my garden earlier and picked out some rosemary sprigs so that you can see where the plant actually comes from, and obviously where the oil is actually extracted from. And I just love sitting there with the scent of rosemary around myself. I grow lavender and rosemary in my garden, and in the summer it's just absolute heaven just to sit there and unwind and actually allow the natural aroma of these plants to bring about a sense of calmness. So it is a very aromatic herb that thrives in very warm and sunny climates, and it can withstand drought areas. It's well known for its health and well-being properties, and it is also known for its antioxidant or anti-inflammatory properties as well. So its physical health benefits in soothing pain and inflammation are well known as well. And it's also useful when tackling menstrual issues. It's known to improve concentration and memory, and also to reduce stress levels. So great to use around exam times, for example, again as a room fragrance. You can also use it in skincare products. I've got one here, which is rosemary in a treatment oil, and you can use this on the hair. It's well known for its benefits for increasing hair, for helping with hair issues. It's also used for the body and mind. I'm just going to pop that away. Leave my sprigs of rosemary there for you to enjoy. So that brings me to my last essential oil, which is tea tree, which you may or may not have come across before. So it's one of the other most popular essential oils, and it's got lots of natural cleansing and antibacterial properties. It has something which is referred to as a camphorous and fresh aroma, which makes it really refreshing for the mind and the senses. So the oil is distilled from the leaves of the Malacca alternifolia, which is referred to as a small tree native to Australia, this one. So you can use it in a lot of cleansing products and toiletries, for example, but you can also use it as a steam treatment. For example, you can add a drop of tea tree, maybe mix in a little bit of lavender in there as well, to a bowl of hot water, and that can really help to clear everything in your system, particularly if it's sort of bunged up. But be careful if you are using a bowl of steam water, because that can cause issues. Or alternatively, just use it as a room fragrance. I've got a diffuser here, which is obviously an electronic device which you switch on, as opposed to an oil burner which you burn with a candle. And with the diffuser, you literally just put a couple of drops in, and then you turn that on. This one actually has lights in it as well, so it can enhance the mood in a room even more. And this one as well, you can add on a mist element, so to diffuse the aroma into the room even more, and you can have that diffusing in the background when you have a massage. Please do be careful with tea tree, because it can cause a skin reaction if overused, and the best way of determining whether you have an issue with tea tree is to test it, put a drop on a plaster and put it on somewhere where you don't obviously see, and then immediately, if it causes irritation, then remove that and wipe it off. Again, many of these essential oils are not to be used in pregnancy or those that are breastfeeding, so do your research. If you have that, or you are suffering from chronic conditions, you need to really look up and research some of these oils. So when I was studying for my qualification, which I did aromatherapy as part of a diploma in holistic therapies, and I had to refer a lot to textbooks, and these days there is no excuse for not researching the background to some of these oils and whether they are suitable for you or not, because you can get that information at the touch of a button. Many of the organisations that sell these oils really do go that stage further to try and make sure that you have all of the information that you need in order to make the right decisions and use the right oils that are suitable for you. So I would encourage you to be aware of the cautions that are needed with using some of these oils, but investigate them as well. Look at the benefits that they bring. And I really do hope that this session will encourage you to look at the benefits that essential oils can bring. And this is without using treatments. Many of these are just really simple things that you can do yourself, especially if you can't afford going to a massage therapist or an aromatherapist. Many of these things you can actually do yourself. So I would encourage you to do that and really benefit fully from the uses and benefits of these essential oils. Thank you for listening.